जी संजय जी.
Okay, so start करूं?
Yes.
Okay. A very warm afternoon to all of you. Myself, Sanjay Nagdev, Vice President, SPSR Maharashtra State Branch and moderator for today's session, would like to welcome you all for today's webinar on the topic Natural Molecules as Significant Immunomodulators and Antiviral Agents against SARS-CoV-19. And for today's webinar, we have received registrations from many countries like Indonesia, Nigeria, Iraq, Malaysia, Bhutan, okay, which is very remarkable. And before moving towards the session, I would like to request Dr. Shashi Alok sir for the welcome remarks. Over to you, sir.
A very thank you, Professor Sanjay. A very good afternoon to all. On the behalf of Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, I welcome Honorable Speaker Dr. Abhishek Mathur, scientist, consultant, and techno commercial expert and executive director, technical, NCS Green Earth Private Limited, Maharashtra. And I also welcome Honorable Secretary SPSR Mrs. Monica Sabarbal, Joint Secretary SPSR Professor Saurabh Kose, SPSR National Women's Forum President Dr. Padmani Shukla, Mrs. Swati Jain Coordinator Women's Forum, President SPSR UP State Branch Professor Amita Verma, President SPSR West Bengal Branch Dr. Biplav Devnath, President SPSR Maharashtra State Branch Professor Mayur Buret, and also Professor Sanjay Nagdev, Vice President SPSR Maharashtra Branch, SPSR MP State Branch Secretary Dr. Ankit Jain, and MP State Branch Joint Secretary Sri Ankur Agarwal, and all the virtual participants who present here in this SPSR National Webinar. So audience, today we are going to talk about natural molecules as significant immunomodulating and antiviral agents against SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19. So as we know that in the recent year, the immunomodulating property of the plants are being studied extensively with great interest due to the growing awareness on immune system modulation and to achieve the desirable effect on the disease prevention. Several plants remedies well known in the traditional medicine exert their anti-infective effects not only by the direct affecting the pathogens but also by stimulating natural and adopting defense mechanism of the host. So therefore, plant remedies have become versatile means with improved immunotherapy. So today we have with Dr. Abhishek Mathur, a very good scientist and consultant of techno commercial expert and executive director NCS Green Earth Private Limited Maharashtra. So on the behalf of SPSR, sir, I welcome to you and thank you for being accepted SPSR invitation for this talk. Now I would like to request Professor Sanjay Nagdev, please introduce the brief profile of today's eminent speaker. Over to Sanjay.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's my privilege to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Abhishek Mathur, sir. Sir is working as Executive Director, Technical, NCS Green Earth Private Limited, Nagpur. He is PhD in Biochemistry from Jivaji University, Gwalior, and having rich experience of 15 years in the field of natural molecules and phytochemicals related to the pharmacological and agricultural activities. Sir has more than 96 research publications in international and national journals of repute with more than 800 citations. And sir have 3 patents on technologies regarding solid waste management and wastewater recycling. Sir has 3 books and 2 technical chapters to his credit, and also presented his work in the form of technical, oral, and poster presentation in more than 14 national and international conferences. And Sir has supervised more than 50 students for their project work and dissertation. Sir is reviewer and editorial board member for many peer-reviewed journals indexed with Elsevier, Thomson Reuters, and Scopus. And Sir has 7 prestigious awards to his credit. With this brief introduction, I would like to request Dr. Abhishek Mathur, sir, to start with his session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Nagdev sir. Thank you, Dr. Alok. Thank you, SPSR and team and organizers of this particular event. Thank you so much for inviting me for the grand talk and a valuable burning topic on natural molecules as a significant immunomodulators against COVID-19. So coming to the presentation. Mhm. I'm not able to see my screen, sir, right now.
So now it is visible.
Abhishek sir, it is visible now. Abhishek sir, your mic is mute. Please unmute your mic. Well, your presentation is showing. Please share your screen.
Yes, wait a minute, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Voice is audible.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Coming to the topic, how these natural molecules are beneficial as significant immunomodulators, and they are also the antiviral agents against SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19. So the thing is that these natural molecules are having specific action, and they are found to be very active against these particular viruses and different microbes surrounding the environment. As we are now suffering from this COVID-19, which is caused by SARS-CoV-2. It's a novel coronavirus responsible for ongoing human pandemic, and we, as the Globian part of the country of the world, actually, are also suffering a lot. So, initially the infection was very low, at a very low rate in the India, but nowadays the infection is getting spread day by day, and we are getting lot many patients affected by this COVID-19. It is because anyhow our immune system is slightly weak, and the immune system is now not providing any resistance against this SARS-CoV-2. So the thing is that this particular virus is affecting our immune system. It is destroying our immune system at a very faster rate, at a very greater intensity. And anyhow, if suppose we are immunologically weak, if we are immunologically compromised, this particular virus is affecting us in a very bad manner. So the thing is that we are now finding out the alternatives. We are not having the suitable vaccine against COVID-19. Till date, we are not having the suitable drug or any vaccine against COVID-19. And we are just treating the patients with some other drugs which were known to treat some other diseases, some other infections and all. And simultaneously, along with those drugs which are found to be alternates for treatment of COVID-19, we are taking the vitamins, we are taking the healthy diet and healthy routine we are maintaining, so that we can cope up with this particular virus infection. So this is not a normal virus, because it is also changing its genome rapidly, and therefore suitable drugs are to be identified, suitable natural molecules or alternates to be identified to get rid of this particular virus. So the international effort is and the research community across the globe is working on it, and different people, different scientists are working to identify the different natural molecules and natural molecules from the plants as well, from the environment, from the organisms, which can which can be used for the treatment of this COVID-19. So we need the suitable vaccines, the promising candidates, the promising molecules which can fight against this SARS-CoV-2. Okay, so before coming to this particular subject, before coming to this particular research area, what we have done actually, and what the people are doing, first of all, we should know about our immune system. What is our immune system, and what do we mean by immunity? So the immunity, as we know that it is known as exempt from. So any resistance process in the body which is exempting us from any antigen or any foreign agent to enter inside our body, that is known as immunity. That is the immune resistance of our body. Okay, so immune resistance is the kind of relative resistance towards a specific infection, towards a specific antigen or a foreign particle. So here in the crowd, there might be some biotechnology students, so pharmacy students and life sciences students, and they must have come across about this particular word, the antigen and the infection. So any foreign particle entering in our body, entering in our body premises, where there is a specific defense mechanism to fight against it, that is known as antigen. And there is a specific machinery which is actively involved to provide a resistance in the body, so that our body is protecting us from those antigens, so that we should not get compromised to these particular antigens, and we should not get attacked by such dreadful infections or some pathogens. So there are lymphocytes, there is a kind of cellular immunity, there is a humoral immunity, there are antibodies, immunoglobulins, there are lymph nodes, spleen and thymus, and different macrophages and other cells are there which are fighting against such infections. So they are providing a kind of immunity and a defense behavior within the body. So the immunity means a defense, natural defense system. But anyhow, this defense system is also categorized into different types. Okay, so this is about humoral immunity and cell-mediated immunity. So humoral immunity is dealing with the production of antibodies. Okay, by the B lymphocytes, there are specific cells which are able to produce the antibodies. When any specific antigen is entering in the body, these B lymphocytes are activated or triggered by some natural pathways, and these B lymphocytes are able to secrete the antibodies. So there will be release of antibody, and these antibodies will combine with the antigen, and there will be an antigen and antibody complex, and that particular antigen is destroyed forever. Okay, and there are some memory cells also. They will recognize this particular memory, and the person will not be affected by such disease for the lifetime at the second time. Okay. Okay, so this is about the kind of resistance or the kind of memory system in the body. So there are cells also which are triggering the B lymphocytes. They are T lymphocytes. They are T cells. So these all cells are working in a coordinated manner, in a synergistic manner, and there is a kind of cascade. There is a kind of systematic behavior where each and every when an antigen enters in the body, some mechanism gets arises, and each and every cell releases some molecules. I will tell you later. Okay, these molecules will be accepted by some other cells, and these cells will facilitate the B lymphocytes to production of antibody, because when until and unless the antibodies are not produced for the specific antigen, there will be no destroy of this particular antigen. Okay, so antibodies are always liberated by the B lymphocytes. Okay, while other cells are there, they are also releasing some molecules which also attack those antigens, those foreign particles, but not in the form of antibody. They may be another kind of cytokines or kind of interleukins, or there are several other signaling molecules which are working in a coordinated fashion. Okay, so there are some cytokines which are released by some cells known as macrophages. Okay, and these macrophages are activated when a specific antigen enters in our body in the living system, and these macrophages releases cytokines, and these cytokines will activate these some other cells. So there will be a specific antibody for specific antigen. Suppose if one person is suffering from measles, the antibodies that will generate against it, that will be working on the measles antigens only. So always whenever an antigen is entering, there is a specific antibody generation, and the antibody generation always occurs by all these types of cells, and a specific kind of cascade mechanism going in a defense mechanism in the body. So about the defense mechanism, there is an innate immunity and adaptive or acquired immunity. Okay, so innate immunity is is through birth, through lifetime. It is always with the person. Okay, and it is through birth, and this is induced by these cells: macrophages, natural killer cells, eosinophils, neutrophil, basophils. These are responsible for generating the innate immunity in the body. So whenever any antigen is entering, okay, any foreign particle is entering, this particular mechanism is always activating. Okay, is always activated, and it will destroy the particular antigen. While there are some other cells which gets activated when suppose if you're taking some kind of drug or a kind of vaccine. So these cells gets activated, and definitely through innate, adaptive can also gets generated, and through our vaccines or some kinds of drugs, these also gets facilitated. These cells, B cells and T cells, also gets activated, and they facilitate the antigen destroying property. Okay, so so all these cells and mechanism working in a coordinated fashion to destroy the foreign particle. Now this particular behavior is known as immune resistance, and the kind of mechanism that is known as the immunomodulation. And the immunomodulation can be occurring by the antigen recognition and phagocytosis. The specific cells are recognizing the antigen, okay, and they are destroying the foreign particle. This is known as phagocytosis. There are lymphocytes, so they proliferate, differentiate. There are B lymphocytes, there are T lymphocytes, and B lymphocytes are producing the antibodies, as I was told earlier, while T lymphocytes are T helper cells, T cytotoxic cells, killer T cells are there. So they are working in a coordinated fashion, and the helper T cells are facilitating the B lymphocytes. So there is another kind of mechanism through which the antigen can be destroyed. There is release of synthesis of antibodies, definitely by B lymphocytes only. There is antigen antibody interaction. When specific antibodies are generated, they are combining with a specific antigenic particle, and they are forming a complex, and they are destroying the specific antigen. There are a release of some mediators due to immune response. Obviously, as I told, that there are some cells which are not producing the antibody, but they are releasing some chemicals. they are cytokines, interleukins, and they are also targeting those particular antigenic cells, antigenic sites, antigenic foreign particles. So those cells are releasing the mediators for producing the immune response. Further, the particular antigenic target site is also modified so that it gets neutralized, and finally it gets destroyed. So all these mechanisms works in a coordinated fashion, and there's a kind of series of events that happens when a specific antigen enters in a body. So definitely any foreign particle is also well recognized by the body, obviously, but anyhow there are some immune responses which are fatal to us, which can be fatal to us. Definitely they can be the allograft. For example, if suppose any person is having the liver infected, and or suppose a kidney is infected, suppose of a person, and we have to change the kidney, suppose. If suppose any donor is donating that particular graft or any tissue, so the blood groups should match, because until and unless the blood groups are not matching, there is a kind of rejection. This is known as graft rejection. So at that time, the specific recipient's antibody will be produced against that particular antigenic donor organ. So that is a graft rejection. So that happens in some cases when some tests are not done and specific blood groups are not matched. Okay, so this is also kind of body defense mechanism. Okay, now coming to other kind of defense mechanism by the body, that is humoral and cell mediated. As I told you that humoral immunity is occurring by the production of antibodies. Okay, and the B lymphocytes are responsible for those production of antibodies. Okay, immunoglobulins. So these B lymphocytes are also into two types. Basically, they are plasma cells and memory cells. They recognize the memory, and the plasma cells are responsible for production of antibodies. While there is cell-mediated immunity, which is facilitated by the T lymphocytes. They may be helper T cells, cytotoxic cells, and killer T cells. So when any antigen enters in the body, this kind of mechanism also gets activated, and it works in a coordinated fashion. So there are some macrophage cells. Okay, they will represent the antigen on their sites. Okay, and those particular sites can be recognized by the helper T cells. Okay, helper T cells again facilitate the B cells to produce the antibody, and these antibodies will bind to this particular antigen. In another slide, I will be showing you that particular series of events. This is the kind of immune response of the body, and this is what we are seeing here, the series of events. So an antigen is coming to the body. Okay, any antigen, any foreign particle. Antigen can be protein, lipid, or any kind of polysaccharide. That's the nature of antigen is. And when it is entering in the body, some cells are activated. Okay, the macrophages are there. So macrophages are activated, and they are combining this particular antigenic peptides on their surfaces. Okay, and they recognize that I am holding the antigenic site, antigenic protein, and these proteins are now observed by the helper cells. Okay, and these helper cells are further facilitated. Okay, and they are able to, so there are some cytotoxic cells, there are some killer cells. So cytotoxic cells and killer cells are directly involved in antigenic targeting. Okay, they release some chemicals, some molecules, natural molecules for targeting those antigen cells, and while helper cells are further involved in facilitating the B cells, the B lymphocytes. These macrophages are facilitating the helper T cells, and these helper T cells are facilitating the B lymphocytes for production of these antibodies. So the antibody production by the B lymphocytes occurs only when there are kind of former events which gradually occurs one by one in a serial manner. Now the same diagram is shown here in the language form. First of all, antigen is entering, so antigen and antibody will bind, but there is a kind of complex cascade and complement system which gets facilitated. There are some macrophages which are representing the antigen. They are helping the helper T cells, and helper T cells are further facilitating the B lymphocytes, and there will be a kind of antigenic targeting, and the antigen will be destroyed. So coming to the point, when any body is immunocompromised means when the person is not having a great immune system, when the immune system is weak. Okay, so there should be some substances. There should be some substances. There should be some change. Things that should be taken in the through the diet, that should be taken through diet, or suppose any person is taking any drug, or there are natural molecules if person is taking. So those natural molecules, or those drug based substances or diet based substances can be utilized as immunomodulators. Okay, these may facilitate the particular immune system of a weak or immunocompromised patient. They activate that particular immune system, and further they can be the immunostimulators. Okay, so immunomodulators can be of two types. One is immunostimulators, another are immunosuppressant. So immunostimulators are activating and facilitating the immune system, so that they can work. The immune system can work in a coordinated fashion to release the antibodies properly, to release the different natural molecules to target the antigenic cells. While there are some immunosuppressants also, because immunosuppressants means the items, the daily ingredients which we take unknowingly in our diet, or suppose through any drug, or suppose any kind of inhibitory substance that may block our immune system or can interrupt our immune system, and those substances can be categorized as immunosuppressant. They will not facilitate the immune system, and taking them through our diet, or suppose we are taking in our body, so we can weaken our immune system from them. Okay, so these immunosuppressants should not be taken, and we should identify what are immunosuppressants, and we should not be taken through our diet. Okay, while we should take immunostimulators. So there is a branch in pharmacology now, which is now known as immunopharmacology, and it's dealing with the immunomodulators. So immunomodulators should be the substances which can trigger the immune system, which can facilitate the immune system, which can activate the immune system to release different cytokines to different molecules, which can target the antigenic cells. Okay, or those cells can trigger and then themselves trigger to release some molecules which can target the antigenic cells, and they can facilitate the B cells to produce the antibodies. So these should be taken through our diet, and they should be utilized as much as we can to strengthen our immune system. That they are known as immunomodulators. So there are different substances surrounding our environment, and plants are definitely the common examples, because these are the repositories of different natural molecules, and different natural metabolites are there. We already know that these plants are having different molecules responsible for antimicrobial activity, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and different pharmacological activities are present in those molecules, which are known as phytochemicals. Okay, so there may be steroids, alkaloids, flavonoids. There are some algae also which are having some active molecules. There are different plants, as I told. There are some fishes also coming to the animal system. There are egg yolk also, which are having a cluster of different molecules which are which can be utilized as immunomodulators, which are basically the immunomodulators. Okay, so coming to different molecules also, which are released by different cells, which are known as cytokines. These are basically extracellular proteins, and they are also known as interleukins or interferons, chemokines, and they are basically effective in innate and adaptive immunity, acquired immunity. Okay, so in different diseases, when any kind of disease occurs, so these cytokines are always released, these interleukins are always released. Okay, and these also shows a kind of defense mechanism. These cytokines are basically released in different autoimmune diseases, Alzheimer's, schizophrenia, and different negative emotion like conditions like stress, infections. Okay, all these things facilitate these release of cytokines. And the recent example is COVID-19. Suppose if any of your friend might have suffered from COVID-19, so doctor have taken the word the cytokine storm. The word comes into picture known as cytokine storm. Okay, so what is cytokine storm? I just want to tell you now. This cytokine storm is not harmful, not harmful, but basically when much cytokines are released, these are harmful for the body itself. Now, how these are released? Okay, so when as I told you that a specific antigen is entering the body, there is facilitating or triggering of an immune system, immune mechanism is generated. Okay, different cells are activated. Okay, different macrophages are there, so they are presenting the antigens. Okay, they are releasing some cytokines. Okay, they are facilitating the T lymphocytes. Okay, so these lymphocytes, cytokines are facilitating. These cytokines are released in such a manner. Basically, I'm talking about the SARS-CoV-19. These are released in such a manner because of the entry of large quantity or large dosimetric ratio of virus. These particular cytokines also affect the body organ also, because we know that this SARS-CoV-2 is affecting the lungs. Okay, so against this particular SARS-CoV-2, there is release of several cytokines. Okay, so when cytokines are attacking on the virus, they are also attacking on those particular cells, natural cells of the body, where the virus antigenic particles were present. So anyhow, they're also destroying that particular organ, and that may lead to fatal conditions as well. So because of excessive cytokine storm, which gets released by that entry of this particular COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2, these cytokines can also be dangerous and fatal to the particular body cell or body tissue or body organ. So coming to SARS-CoV-2, how it is how immune mechanism was working when the person was affected with SARS-CoV-2. SARS-CoV-2 is affected. Definitely, the virus is entering, and there are some cells known as dendritic cells. There are some macrophages. Okay, they are presenting the antigen. They are binding with the antigen. They are presenting the antigens to helper T cells. T cells. Okay, these helper T cells have different receptor protein. Okay, so these are cytotoxic cells. T cells, these are helper. Suppose these are helper T cells. These are cytotoxic T cells. They see that their antigen is bind to these macrophages and dendritic cells. Okay, further they expand. Okay, and they kill some cells are directly killing, and some cells are facilitating the B lymphocytes to produce the antibodies. So these antibodies are again combining with the antigenic particles, SARS-CoV-2, and some cells are involved in direct targeting of the antigen, so thus destroying the particular antigen. So this is a kind of behavior. Now, when the person is immunocompromised, the person is not okay immunologically, he is suffering from severe diabetes or severe or cancer like conditions, of asthma, he is suffering from asthma. So that particular person body is immunocompromised, and at that time such process do not go rapidly. Okay, do not go rapidly, and there will be not no much formation of antibodies. There will be no much release of cytokines, and there will be no slow I can say destroying of that particular inventive virus particles. But in the healthy patients, this particular process gets fast. Okay, therefore the doctors in this particular scenario suggest you that eat oranges, eat vitamin C rich diet. Okay, vitamin C rich fruits. Okay, and take some vitamins, health supplements. Okay, take do normal routine and all. Some exercises are there. Okay, some breathing exercises are there. So it is because to activate your immune system only, to trigger your immune system to invade the function of this particular SARS-CoV-2. Now, coming to the plants and the human immunity, we know, as we discussed, that the plants are commonly used in Ayurvedic medicine, the Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, and naturopathy, and definitely they're using a lot many herbs and different plants. So So these herbs and plants are definitely having significant molecules. These molecules are wonder molecules, and these natural molecules are significantly working against different infections, different antigenic particles. They may be bacteria, they may be fungus, they may be any virus, etc. So we all know that during the rainy season we are coming to the attack of this particular normal flu. But anyhow, right now we are also having this particular COVID-19. So both are viral infections, but normal flu gets eliminated through our body by our defense mechanism in about 5 to 8 days. But this COVID-19 takes a particular time, and you have to trigger your immune system. And definitely you have to take some natural molecules to invade it. So these plants are the repositories of these natural molecules: alkaloids, flavonoids, terpenoids, polysaccharides, lactones, and glycosides. And these are responsible for alterations in your immunomodulatory properties. So what body you is behaving against the specific antigens or foreign particles. If suppose you are taking some healthy rich diet and these molecules in your diet, so your immune system gets activated, and there will be maximum immunomodulatory properties gets observed against the specific antigens. So these plant derived chemicals are working significantly. So there is some common examples. There are lot many, but I have indicated some. That Rhiza curua is an effective medicinal plant. The chlorophyllum boreavelum root extract is effective against some diseases, some activating some immune mechanism. The Ficus carica, that is also triggering the humoral and cell-mediated immune response in experimental animals. So when different researches have been going on and different plants have been tested for different molecules which can work against these particular antigens. So there is a terminology coming into existence which is known as reverse pharmacology, and it is proposed by some Vaidyas to understand the mechanism of action, how these herbal drugs or these plant molecules, phytochemicals, are working in a significant manner, and how they inactivate the antigenic response. Okay, so anyhow, I also just want to say that these plants are not only activating the immune system, but anyhow sometimes they may be harmful and toxic also, and they can also cause side effects. So before taking anything new in your body, just you have to identify, you have to reveal their properties, and you have to determine what all properties these particular herbs and molecules have been utilized. Okay, so different phytochemicals are in existence. We know a suitable example of salicylic acid, which is an active metabolite of aspirin. And the quinone is there from Cinchona officinalis. Hydroxyquinone is basically being used in the treatment of SARS-CoV-2, and there is a specific molecule commonly known Taxol, which is an anti-cancer drug. So there are many molecules which have been isolated and identified for the pharmacological properties against different infections and different diseases. Now, how to identify the suitable modulators? Okay, so identifying the suitable modulators or a specific lead molecule is a specific and efficient task. Yes, and so we have to first of all work on the specific plant. We have to prepare the extract, okay, and we have to identify their properties, the pharmacological, antimicrobial, or antioxidant, or on which we have to test actually. Further, when this such molecules, some plant extracts are tested, they have been identified for isolation of molecules. They are being characterized. They are characterized, and a specific lead molecule is generated. And further, we perform the animal modeling. In animal models, we do the drug, we determine the dose optimization, okay, and further that particular molecule comes into existence, and we go for bioinformatics analysis, and we identify the suitable lead molecule. Okay, so there are many processes in function to identify the specific lead molecule, to specify the specific wonder molecule that can be utilized for a specific drug formulation. So definitely vaccines are the specific candidates to combat the viral infection. So vaccine needs adjuvants. Okay, adjuvants are some facilitators. Simply known as to help. So vaccine cannot work until and unless some adjuvants are there. Adjuvants facilitate the vaccine to trigger the humoral or cell-mediated immune response. So these plant molecules, uh, wonder phytochemicals, can be utilized as a specific adjuvants, and these adjuvants are definitely natural. Definitely, they will not cause any side effects as such. If in a specific dosage, if they are taken, they will be very useful, and they can be utilized as adjuvants along with the vaccine which we have developed. So there are different molecules. I cannot name as such because there are lot many. So adjuvants can act at several different stages. As I have told you, the mechanism, when a specific antigen is coming, some cells are representing the antigen, okay, and they are releasing some molecules to activate the helper cells, okay. So in any of the pathway, of the immune response, these adjuvants can be utilized. These adjuvants can be utilized along with the vaccines, so that any of the cell which is weakened, any of the cell which is not showing any response, gets activated and can be able to really to work its specific function. Suppose if the macrophages are not working properly, though those particular vaccine and adjuvants can activate the macrophages so that they release the molecules and they can help facilitate the helper cells. And if helper cells are not working, suppose helper T cells are not working properly, and these adjuvants and vaccines can facilitate these particular helper T cells to release the molecules to so that they can activate the B lymphocytes to release the antibodies. So anyhow, these vaccines and adjuvants are working in a coordinated fashion, and these natural molecules can be utilized as adjuvants. Okay, so coming to different natural molecules, we are also working on some natural molecules, and we have tested several. Although we are not specifically working directly on the inhibition of SARS-CoV-2, but the thing is that we are working on some other alternatives. Suppose we are using some natural molecules in some sprays or disinfectants, or in some kind of paints, so that there should not be any kind of SARS-CoV-2 infection or any repository of SARS-CoV-2 cells on any surfaces. So we are using curcumin. Curcumin, we know that it's an active metabolite in haldi, curcuma longa. It's a natural molecule, and it's having widely known properties. It is a good anti-inflammatory agent. It's a good anti-diabetic agent, and wound healing properties are there. But some studies have also shown that this curcumin is also affecting that particular virus particles, and they are showing they're targeting the NF-kappa B pathway, and they are destroying the virus cells specifically. So they are also targeting the cytokinic storm sites, where cytokines and storms are generated. Okay, so when because cytokines are useful, but these cytokines are activated and facilitated in such a manner that those where the virus have been attacked, so there the cytokines are entrapped. So at that particular site, this curcumin also acts as a healing agent. Okay, so we used to take the golden milk. Okay, haldi dal ke doodh pite hain hum log. So definitely this haldi is and curcumin in it is a very effective molecule against this particular virus. So the effects of curcumin in virus associated with severe pneumonia have been observed. This is a study done by a few people, and it is inhibiting the virus-induced lung injury through its antivirus, anti-inflammation, antioxidant activity. Okay, and in addition, it is also suppressing the fibrosis by targeting TGF beta signaling pathways. Now, coming to other molecules, some molecules are also coming from the aquatic life. Okay, aquatic life, which can be found useful against different diseases and also against COVID-19. Okay, SARS-CoV-2. So here I am talking about the molecules from aquatic flora. Aquatic flora means the plants which are residing in the plant water bodies. Okay, these may be the brown algae, green algae, red algae, and they are able to release some polyphenols and different molecules. They release these wonder molecules which are able to block the viruses and target the viruses, and they can inhibit the replication of the viruses also. And definitely they can the mechanism yet to be studied, but they can target the virus sites and they can destroy the virus effectively. Coming to the molecules from aquatic fauna, the animals, okay, the water bodies animals. So I'm working from last 10 11 years on some molecules from water bodies, okay, the basically the polysaccharides extracted from the exoskeleton shells, the crustacean cells, okay, the crab shell, the prawn lobster shells, which is a complex polysaccharide and amino acid residues. They are also wonder molecules, and they are found to be effective against different diseases, different antimicrobial activities there. So these molecules are found are can also be utilized to treat the SARS-CoV-2 infection, and these may be the chitin, chitosan, and different chitin derivatives. Coming to our local items, okay, the items which we are regularly using in our uh, kitchens, okay, and definitely Ayush Kada is in existence, and the people used to say that take garlic, take ginger, take elderberry, calendula, astragalus root, olive leaf, and the common are tulsi, basicum, and you must take the mint, okay. So ginger and all these things are also definitely condiments. Some spices are there. So these are also having some natural molecules, and these natural molecules are having the specific virucidal property as well as antimicrobial property, as well as they can be utilized against some infections. So all these molecules can be extracted out and can be studied for controlling the infection of SARS-CoV-2. Coming to vitamins. Now vitamins are those portion of our diet which are not targeting as such the particular antigens or any kind of foreign particle entering in our body, but anyhow they are acting as a coenzymes of our in our body, and these coenzymes are facilitating the enzymes to work in a coordinated fashion, and they are helpful for strengthening our immune system, okay. So there are water soluble vitamins, there are fat soluble vitamins, okay. So when the person is affected by the COVID-19, the SARS-CoV-2 infection is there, so doctor suggests that you must take the ascorbic acid, you must take the vitamin C, you must take the multivitamins, okay. He prescribed the multivitamins in the diet because because these vitamins are strengthening the body mechanism, and they facilitate the immune system to invade the function attack of these foreign particles on SARS-CoV-2. Coming to other antivirals, which are definitely established as prominent antivirals in SARS-CoV-2, different studies have been done. So actually, how these antiviral drugs behave, they either inhibit the replication cycle of the virus, okay, or either they can destroy the proteinogenic sites, protein sites, spike proteins of this particular virus, okay. So anyhow, the mechanism of the antiviral drugs is always different, because these may be the plant based, or these may be any kind of natural molecules, then they have different mechanism of action. So some proteins have been innovated, and these are found as antivirals, and they are basically lectins. They are carbohydrate binding proteins isolated from the plants. And some lectins known as Griffithicin is a 121 amino acid lectin produced by a red algae of the genus Griffithia. So it is found as an entry inhibitor. Different researches are going on, and they're working on SARS-CoV-2, and they found that Griffithicin is found potent against this SARS-CoV-2. Coming to this Cytoverin, it's a 95 amino acid lectin. It is also found active against different virus, HIV, Zaire, Ebola virus, and SARS-CoV-2, Marburg virus, etc., etc. So these lectins are having a specific role. There are about 33 additional plant lectins that are identified as 20 promising candidates against SARS-CoV-2. Recent studies data is there. So there are mannose binding lectins which are found to be strongest against SARS-CoV-2, and they are found to be most effective targets. And there are lectins which are based on galactose, N-acetylglucosamine residues, glucose residues, which are also inhibiting the replication cycle of the virus. There are some proteins which are isolated from cyanobacteria. They are cyanovarin N fusion proteins are there. So they are also targeting the SARS-CoV-2, and they are also inhibiting and destroying the SARS-CoV-2. So all these researches are in the picture. So anyhow, coming to the vaccine production, if suppose such natural molecules, if we found that these are very useful for destroying this COVID-19 and this destroying this SARS-CoV-2 virus, so we can produce this particular antiviral protein in the plant, antiviral molecules in the plant. Okay, so these plants are natural bioreactors. Okay, if we use the biotechnology approach, if we use the genetic engineering approach, we can identify the specific gene of interest which are responsible for coding that particular amino acid, or which are responsible for coding that lectin or these molecules. So if those genes are inserted in this particular plant, these plant can behave as natural bioreactors and then can be utilized to manufacture different reagents at a scale in different time frame of weeks, and definitely in a very short time. And the fruits which we obtain from these plants will be having those antigenic antivirus particles against SARS-CoV-2. Okay, so these plants can be utilized to develop different diagnostic reagents, so to develop to identify different molecules, to commercially produce different molecules at a very faster rate. Okay, so this approach is known as molecular farming. This is known as PHARMING, molecular farming. Okay, so the production of the pharma added molecule in the plant is known as farming through with the concept of molecular biology. This is SARS-CoV-2 virus. We know there are spike proteins here. There are some genetic material inserted in it, the single stranded RNA molecule. Okay, so if suppose any antigenic particle is taken out, and we know that these antigenic particles are coded by some genes. Okay, if we identify those genes and insert in this particular plant, okay, so this plant will produce that particular protein in the form of fruits. The fruits which we get, or any kind of reparative the fruit substances which we get actually, or in the leaves, those antivirus particles will be obtained, and with these can be utilized as vaccines, and these can be tested in the animal models as well as in the humans for finally. And further, we can utilize these particular plants by tissue culture or some other means, so that we can get the maximum growth of plants in a very short time, and we obtain those pharma added molecules, those basically antivirals in these particular plants, to produce in a large number to get rid of this particular deficiency of vaccine or antivirals. So these plants can be utilized as a natural bioreactors, and there are different companies working on molecular farming approach, which are producing such molecules through plants. Okay, different multiple products have been tested in clinical trials also, and the different pharmaceutical companies are selling it. Okay, but we are not. The Indian companies are not selling actually. The Indians are not in this particular race. So we have to come across this, and we have to identify those molecules, those particular genes, so that we can develop such antivirals in the plants itself. And these antivirals can be utilized for the production of diagnostic reagents and antiviral drugs. Okay, and different if suppose this COVID-19 is spreading, there might be a possibility that some other epidemic can also come across the globe in a very short time. So we should be very prepared by using such plants. These plants are known as transgenic plants. And finally, coming to the concluding remarks, how can biotechnologies people help? So we should strengthen our knowledge, we should strengthen our skills, so that we can identify those molecules, we can develop some drugs, we can screen those drugs again those particular viruses and different pathogens causing different infectious diseases. And we should come across, and we should expand to develop some specific therapeutics and different new molecules for these targets. Okay, we can develop some approaches, different medicinal approaches should be utilized, the combinatory chemistry and the medicinal chemistry for identifying the novel pharmacophores. To modulate those particular drugs also, there might be a possibility that the molecule you have isolated or you have identified cannot work specifically independently. Okay, so there is a possibility that if suppose you can add some pharmacophores in it or some or other wonder molecules in it, that drug can be much specialized, much effective. Okay, so the possibility is that you should have a knowledge of those all those things. Different natural molecules like curcumin should be utilized further, because these natural molecules are already abundant in nature and they can be extracted easily. So the thing is that you have to take care of it, and you have to identify all those things, and you must know about the extraction procedures, the shelf life, and the stability of all those things. Okay, further, different companies, different scientists are working in this particular direction for developing the strategies for developing of plant-derived products. Okay, different industries are also working along with the academicians, and in spite huge amount of work done, there is no systematic review or database available in our country. So this is a loophole in our system. They should be maintained properly, because until and unless we are not knowing that this particular plant is beneficial for this particular activity, the further new researcher will not be able to do on further work on this particular plant. Okay, so the things should be very well drafted, very well documented, very well maintained in the repository data banks, so that the new researchers should not have any problem and should not be able to face any challenges to identify or to screen those plants or those drugs. Okay, so even there is no proper maintenance or mention of our work which is being published in Indian journals and Indian databases, international databases. So we have to cluster all those information in a single database, and we have to identify, we have to maintain those particular data banks safely. Okay, as we know that there are some ready available gene data banks, so we get the information from genes. So there should be such like medicinal plants data bank. There are some books also available, but anyhow, some things yet to be explored, some information is yet to be explored. There are many possibilities for young researchers, so different researchers should work on those particular loopholes, and definitely we can work together to identify the single solution. So this might be the strategy for designing of any antiviral drug. Suppose this is a particular plant, I'm talking about a plant, as I am also working on different molecules, but specifically talking about the phytochemicals. We have extracted out the phytochemicals, we have prepared the extracts, we have extracted out, we have identified it. Okay, now we have identified it, and we have done the pharmacological activities. We identified that it is found fruitful against SARS-CoV-2 or any kind of virus or any kind of disease. So we have identified those drugs, those molecules, those lead molecules are there. So further we go for docking, and with the SARS-CoV-2 proteins we find the compatibility of it. Okay, and in silico designing, through in silico designing we can develop a specific drug against this. There are some known drugs available, so we can identify what structure of drug we are getting, and how it is much compatible to the target receptor site of the virus or any antigen. Further, when the drug is developed by the in silico analysis, this particular drug is to be tested in the animal models. Those optimization should be done. Further, the human trial should be done specifically, effectively in those positive patients. And in virus, I just want to say that since we are not getting the cure and the proper remedy against SARS-CoV-2 till yet, it is because this virus is changing its genotype. It is changing its genotype. It is changing its genetic system. Okay, so these viruses are having the tendency to change the genotype. Okay, so we have to test again and again. We have to identify what all strains our drug is working, on what all conditions it is working. We are also getting that some people are now non-symptomatic. Okay, some people are symptomatic. So we have to test specifically what are the basic changes in symptomatic and asymptomatic patients, and how they can be cured, how these particular drugs can be helpful and effective in meaningful manner. So with these lines, I just want to say to young researchers and different scientists that we should definitely, we are working independently, and we are working very good for our country and for the globe, but we should come across and we should come together, and we should work in a coordination manner, because science always needs synergistic approach, and what you know and what I know, that should be mingled together to develop some fruitful solutions. And definitely when we will come together, we will definitely gain some beneficial aspects and beneficial solutions. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So thank you very much, sir, Dr. Abhishek, for your wonderful talk and knowledgeable pictogram you have been used in your presentation, and very simply explain how to work immunomodulator and how to treat, and particularly in the plant sections. So I would like to thanks. And I have either here seen in the YouTube live comments, and there are a number of comments like that. Excellent sessions are very informative, really informative, and some comments from also from Indonesia and Macau and other countries also. They are also attending this webinar, and
Thank
you
you.
are such a you are such a great scientist. So, Dr. Abhishek, there are some more questions in of my mind, because I have not seen in YouTube live questions. If audience would like to, so please share your questions. So I would like to ask from the speaker. So my one of questions are that what are the immunomodulators? Those how these elect the immune response?
Sir, immunomodulators, as I said, that immunomodulators are those substances which can be taken whenever inside our body to facilitate the immune response, to activate our immune system. Suppose if any person is weakened by the immune system and is immunocompromised, and if he is taking the healthy diet or active molecules, natural molecules in our diet, in his diet, so that immune system will be activated and will be beneficial for a fight against any specific antigen entering in the body. So those are immunomodulators.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. The my next questions, and some of received in the WhatsApp. How COVID-19 patients sustained their level in absence, lack of oxygen?
Okay, uh, the immunocompromised patients, anyhow, if they are having severe COVID-19 infection, uh, so they have lack of oxygen. They are anoxic in nature, in nature and in their daily routine, and they fight when such immunomodulators are to be taken. Okay, they take antioxidants, and they take some vitamins in their diet. So these antioxidants and vitamins facilitate their immune system and activates those particular immune mechanisms. These vitamins and these molecules actually able to activate these immune cells, macrophages, helper cells, B cells, so that these may release some molecules to trigger the particular mechanism, the particular cascade, and they can destroy the antigenic particle efficiently. So with these particular vitamins and natural molecules, they can effectively work, and they can effectively live, and simultaneously they have to maintain themselves beneficial effectively.
Thank you very much, sir.
Not
One of
getting
the
your
question
voice.
received in COVID. Am I audible, Dr. Abhishek?
Yes, yes, sir.
IV
Yes.
can IVIG help in COVID-19? The questions from Mahen Dubedi.
IVIG.
Yes.
IVG, IG, can he spell the complete IVIG?
Okay, okay, no issue. So, next question from is Krishna Swarup. They asked, my question is, if we target for the cytokinin storm, it helpful for only COVID or any other disease?
Uh, cytokine storm, cytokine storm is much denser in COVID. Okay, in any other disease, definitely cytokines are released, but not much dense. Okay, so the COVID-19 cytokine storm can be suppressed only when we are taking the healthy diet. We are taking the immunomodulators in our diet. We are taking the natural molecules in our diet. Okay, then only we can control this particular cytokine storm. And definitely this cytokine storm is produced for the specific SARS-CoV-2. Okay, so it will not work against any other disease specifically. Okay, so there is a kind of, this is a kind of mechanism generated by the body against a specific virus only, specific SARS-CoV-2. So, and at another time, at another infection, there will be another kind of cytokine storm which will get generated.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, sir. You have also explained the vitamins. So my question is, how vitamins act as immunomodulators?
So not able to hear you.
So I think there's a network issue.
Yeah, at his side. Nagdev sir, you can ask him if he's here. Yeah,
Just a second.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah, it's
Yes,
okay. Slide.
sir, Dr. Abhishek, my question is that you have also explained about the vitamins. So how vitamins act as immunomodulators? How vitamins act as immunomodulators?
Yeah, vitamins are the important part of our enzymes operating in the body. So vitamins can act as coenzymes, and these coenzymes act in a coordinated fashion with the enzymes, and they help to enhance the immune mechanism. So vitamins are strengthening the immune mechanism, and they are behaving as coenzymes. So they are facilitating different approaches in the body, so that this particular immune mechanism gets activated for any kind of antigenic response. So
Okay.
naturally, vitamin B complex is acting as the coenzymes in the body. Yeah.
One of questions received from Venu Gopal from sir, is there any specific medicinal plants against COVID-19?
Yeah, what you all are taking suggested uh, for COVID-19, that you have to take the kada and different kinds of ingredients you have to add. What all you are adding in it, the pepper, the kali mirch you are adding in it, the tulsi you are adding in it, the dalchini you are adding in it. So all these herbs are basically, all these spices are basically having anti-active molecules against working against COVID-19. But still the researches are being going on. The people are identifying that whether these plant molecules in such spices and condiments are working against this COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2. So in the some of my slides, I've told you that some lectins or some plant proteins have been investigated. Okay, some plant proteins have been investigated which are known as lectins, and these are found fruitful. These are all already in the research, and these are experimented against SARS-CoV-2, and these are found fruitful against SARS-CoV-2. So different molecules have been now testing in these are in the testing phase. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Mahen Dubedi also asked questions, and full form of IVG. Sir, IVIG means intravenous immunoglobulin. So
Okay.
please tell me about role in COVID-19.
Yes,
What
there
is
is
the
a
role
plasma.
exactly in?
Okay. There is a plasma therapy. There is a plasma therapy which is now new treatment for COVID-19. If any person is affected with COVID-19 and he has generated the antibodies, sufficient antibody level within it, so that particular patient, that particular person, healthy person, patient person blood is taken and the plasma is taken out, and this plasma is delivered to the COVID-19 patient to for the treatment, because the COVID-19 patient is immunocompromised and is not having sufficient amount of antibodies against SARS-CoV-2. So those antibodies coming through the healthy patient in the form of plasma will strengthen the recipient's immune system, and definitely he will get relief. Okay, so this is a kind of antibody treatment, plasma treatment. Yeah, that can be done
Thank
intravenously,
you very much.
definitely.
And now, okay. The next question is from Mukul Sharma. Sir, drug has have some side effects.
Sir, not getting your voice.
I think again there is a network issue, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
now audible, sir. Yeah.
Mhm. Same problem, sir.
Hmm.
Just a second, sir. I'll ask him, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. There is some of internet issues. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, no issue. So thank you very much, sir, for presenting here and for wonderful sessions. And you have explained very well on the behalf of SPSR. I again thank you for this knowledgeable section. And Professor Sanjay already told that we have received more than 700 registration and from other countries also. So, sir, thank you very much, and we hope in the coming days or in the coming months we will you will also available for the SPSR again,
Sure,
and
sir.
the
Thank.
knowledgeable
Sure.
session you will deliver.
Sure, sir.
Thank you
Sure.
very much, sir.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you
Sir,
so
if
much
you
to you and
okay, if you
team SPSR.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
okay
Sanjay,
in
sir.
the sir in the one la, in the last sir, I would like to say some. Are you audible? Am I
Yes.
audible? So
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
if you
It is.
give the
There is
any
also.
message in
Yeah.
this pandemic, if you okay, if you give the any message to audience in this pandemic situations in the COVID-19, so you can please.
Okay. Uh, as we know that this pandemic is uh, getting a disaster day by day, and anyhow unknowingly we are not not aware that how we are coming across with this particular infection. We are not aware, because nowadays the people are asymptomatic. Okay, so my suggestion is that don't leave your mask. Okay, because there are studies which are reported that wearing a mask reduces your 95% infection. Okay, so wear mask always. Don't and don't go idle as such, because you have to be take very take your precautions and all. And you should be aware that you should use sanitizers and those uh, hand wash and all. So you should be very careful, because you should not take it light. Okay, so my personal suggestions are that take healthy diet, make a specific routine, do daily exercises. Okay, and take care of yourself and your family. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good day.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you.
Okay. Good day.